Hello, and welcome to our presentation on Economic Freedom by Rob Bonham and Xiao Li. This is for our International Financial Management class at Emporia State University. We have chosen the United States, China, and Canada to review the economic freedom. We will first begin with the United States. The United States is a free market, but large budget deficits and high public debt have negatively impacted the U.S. recently when looking at economic freedom. The U.S. is the world's largest and most diversified economy. Service accounts for 80% of the GDP. GDP in 2016 was $17.9 trillion with a 2.4% growth. The U.S. ranks high on the corruption index, in the top 20. Because people have access to information and a strong standard of integrity for public officials in the independent judiciary systems. In 2016, the U.S. had $312 billion in direct foreign outflows and $479 billion in direct foreign inflows. That's a net investment of negative $78 billion. In 2013, U.S. was positive $136 billion. This all comes back to the large budget deficits and the cost of liabilities and having contributed to the decline in America's economic freedom. This was a decrease of $214 billion since 2013. Overall well-being for the citizens of the U.S. scored a 75.1 on an economic freedom when the world average is 60.9. Now we will discuss China, and it is a managed market and has a state-controlled financial sector. Government controls almost all of the banks. The legal system is politically influenced, and the Communist Party undercuts the rule of law and adds uncertainty to the economic activity. All imports and exports equal to 41% of the GDP. GDP in 2016 was $19.4 trillion with a 6.9% growth. China ranks in the middle of the corruption index at 79th and has a high degree of being untrustworthy and badly functioning public institutions like police and judiciary. In 2016, China had $217 billion in direct foreign outflows versus in 2013 when they only had $79 billion in outflows and $171 billion in direct foreign inflows, with a net investment is at $47 billion. Overall well-being of the citizens in China scored a 57.4% on an economic freedom scale, when the world average is 60.9. As for Canada, Canada is a free market, and the economic competitiveness has been sustained by a solid institutional foundation. The banking sector is sound and stable, and Canada has a reputation for clean government, and its judiciary system has an impeccable record of independency and transparency with cases of corruption persecuted vigorously. All imports and exports equal to 65% of the GDP. GDP in 2016 was $1.6 trillion with a 1.2% growth. Canada ranks high on the corruption index. They scored in the top 10, which was higher than the U.S. But Canada can't afford to be complacent because they too can be impacted by closed-door deals and corrupt law enforcement that can have detrimental economic impacts. In 2016, Canada had $64 billion in direct foreign outflows and $32 billion in direct foreign inflows, with a net investment of $33 billion. Overall, the well-being of the citizens of Canada scored a 78.5% on economic freedom, which was higher than the United States, when the world average was at 60.9%. Well, this concludes our presentation on economic freedom. We hope that this has been informative, and we thank you for watching.